we have Professor Meoli Kashorda from KENET, and he will talk about what they're doing at the NREN with respect to MLabs at the NREN.
Good evening. I'm so delighted to see so many of you right at the end of the session. Mishuki made me the last speaker in the last session, which is difficult. Now, I think you've heard the measurement, what's going on globally outside, and I really want to just highlight some of the things that we are trying to do inside Kenya. Not only for the higher education community, which I represent, but for the country. You know, almost transitioning into something we could call an internet observatory for the country, and what the measurement lab has done for us in that regard. You have the pointer. I realize. Let me take this opportunity, because you are all here, for me to tell you how research and education networks are structured in general, and how the particular one in Kenya is structured. It's licensed. It's kind of a private operator. It has been licensed. It can do everything. It's a special category of licensing. It's not for profit membership. At this time, it's higher education and research institutes. We've got about 80 members now, and each member can connect as many campuses as they want, and therefore whatever we get from Afrinic, we have our own AS number, and we use the IP version 6 and IPv4, and we use them in our community. It's kind of governed by a board of trustees, and it's a member of the UbuntuNet Alliance. So we are in that research and education peering infrastructure of the world. And I just want to show you Kenya. Okay, yeah. I just want to, for those of you, because this is, I also don't know much about Morocco, and I imagine Morocco people do not know anything about Kenya. It's a big country. A lot of this is semi-desert. Yesterday we had lots of presentations, or is it today, about Niger, about Chad being a lot of, this is also semi-desert, very sparsely populated. The population is right here, and we connect institutions, higher education institutions. Notice this one. We have this space station. We used to launch satellites, but now it's used for measuring. It's operated by the Italian Space Agency, and it collects data, and most of that data has been distributed around the world by courier, and we just want to change that. They have got a small connection. They need real-time data collection in that part of the world. Now, it's all right with, just very briefly, it's all right to know something about what the country is doing, what the operator is doing, but specifically what do you do in order to serve higher education institutions? I just want to point to you, there is an international segment, there is a national distribution which probably rides on top of other operators, but there is a very big campus networks, and we operate in the entire segment, and you can see the number of people who finance it. This morning we had who is financing what, and I think I did mention that where the World Bank comes in, where the government comes in, and where the private operators are helping us, and that's the information. We do work quite a bit. Google does help when it's working with universities. It is a little bit of help in that regard. And then I want to give you also the fact that we are part of a regional research and education network called UbuntuNet Alliance, and Right now we have a project that maybe was mentioned that is actually going to connect Kigali in Rwanda all the way down to Mtunzini. You can see that. So those links are going. I didn't see, I think it's WIOC that is providing them. I don't know whether WIOC are here. And they will also have a node in Nairobi that then connects to the international capacity. And this is what we do. We just aggregate traffic. We do many things that we aggregate, and therefore we have an opportunity to do lots of measurements. I just want you to see that we actually build the advanced research infrastructure, and it is not a trivial task when you are in our environment. And finally, this is what I was asked to talk about. About this year, we worked with the measurement lab people and Google just to get this, the measurement lab. And I think someone from Google did explain this, although they explained it in French, which wasn't, well, so I didn't know how he explained it, so since I don't speak French, but it's this platform, and it is this platform that we want it to be part of our research infrastructure. We want it to be a research platform for ourselves. And not only because we are an operator for the higher education institutions, but mostly because we just want to know and inform the policy makers in our country. And most important, and Michoki didn't mention, the consumers. You know, this tool is targeted at consumers so that we can know whether we are being given what we want. Now, at this time, there are 5 tools. There is the NDT, NPAD, Newbot, ShaperProbe. We are not even, because we just installed it this year, I'm not going to give stories of what we have done with it. We are in the process of just engaging our research community, and you can see it's not a simple probe for us to put or a simple tool. In order for them to come into the country, and I think we now have another MLab node in South Africa and one in Nairobi. I think those are the only 2 in Africa. In order to do it, what they wanted us to have is this, a 1 gig to the internet exchange point. Now, it's not common for people who do not own networks to have 1 gig available. But we just happen to have a dark fiber of 10G, and we were able to do that. And then we give for free. We allocate 50 MB for free to the international community that is going to use this node, because it became part of the global node infrastructure. The important thing, right now, what are we using it for? We use lots of list lines, and it's a good way to test links, because you get all the latency, the throughput, everything. You can know everything about your link. But the most important thing is what we say here, is that we really want to promote it among consumer organizations, including ourselves, regulators, and of course ourselves. The emerging internet research community is going to be doing a lot of work. So we hope to, by next year, to have lots of data that we have done. Now you can see a lot of data is accumulated. Every person who is taking measurements, that data is aggregated and measured, and you can go to the visualization site on it and take measurements. Unfortunately, it's because we are not measuring a lot, it's not very useful data right now. But you see, you can even see download statistics for Africa, and you can see Tunisia seems to be doing quite well. So you can measure all those things. But the most important thing for us is that we shall be able to measure the health of the internet, especially the broadband infrastructure inside Kenya, rather than not just looking at it from outside, but looking at it from the end users into the country itself, even without excluding the international segment. They're just the health of the internal infrastructure. That's what we want to use most of these for. I think you can go to the visualization. I mean, if you visit the measurement lab, you can you can choose the node to test from, and you can do tests from Nairobi. And also you can see all this data. Thank you.